Hi there everybody, Morgan with a Answer here, and today I want to show you how to throw a baby sprinkle. Now not only is sprinkle the theme of this baby shower, but it's also the kind of baby shower it is. Sprinkles are a lot of times thrown for parents who are having their second, third, or even further child. So a lot of times with the first child, there's a lot of gifts. Sometimes the big ticket items are gifted and purchased at that point. But with consecutive children, a lot of times families still have those big ticket items. Less emphasis is put on gift giving and more just celebrating and being together because the couple already has the items that they need. So today I'm going to walk you through a few key parts of throwing a baby sprinkle and some DIY projects you can do to decorate for this theme. So follow along and I'll show you how I did this. Let's talk about siblings for a moment. So a baby sprinkle is all about it being a second, third, fourth baby in your family, which means they're gonna have older siblings and probably cousins or your friends will have babies as well, and you wanna keep them entertained at this party. So I would encourage you to set up an area at the party with activities for your older siblings. Depending on the age range, that could be, blocks, that could be coloring sheets like what I've got here. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but you do want something that will keep the older kids busy while this party's going on, because they're probably going to be there. So I've just gotten on Google and printed out some really cute baby shower themed, new baby themed coloring sheets, and it's simple as a box of crayons and some coloring sheets on a table. Like I said, that could be some blocks or toys or some other activities. Go wild with it if you want, or it could be as simple as some coloring sheets, but don't forget about those older siblings. Let's jump into making some decorations. So I've made this template on PicMonkey and just picked a script that I liked and made sure it was bold enough and all the letters were touching each other. It's important that the letters all connect so that the sign has some structure to it. So if you need to, you may need to reduce the line spacing and bolden the letters to achieve this. I then blew the wording up to 28 inches wide and printed it out tile print on my home printer, and that gave me this template. Now I'm just gonna go around and cut around all of the outsides of my letters, and this is going to allow me to transfer it to the board that I'm using. Once the template's made, I'm going to arrange it on my board and tape it in just a few places so that it won't rumple as I'm tracing it. And I'm just going to use a pencil and go around all of the lines onto my poster board here. For this project, I'm using colored poster board so that when I glue the sprinkles on it, if there's a spot where a sprinkle isn't, you won't see white between it. It'll be a color. So that's why I picked this, but in hindsight, if I were to do this again, I would actually use foam core because you really need the rigidity that the foam core brings because of all the weight of the sprinkles. The poster board just wasn't stiff enough. So when you go to make this, use foam core instead. And all those steps will be the same. The only thing you'll have to do is paint the foam core a color so you don't have that white color showing through, but you'll see that in a moment when I go to make the cake topper. So now that all the lines are onto the board, I'm gonna come back with a brand new X-Acto blade and cut all of it out using my X-Acto knife. And this goes really quick, just follow all the lines and get some clean cuts, and then we're gonna be ready to start gluing. To attach the sprinkles to my board, I'm going to be using this all-purpose Elmer's glue. Now you do not need a gallon of this is just what I had on hand, and I'm going to be putting a thick coat down using a foam brush or a paintbrush onto the front side of my foam board. It's helpful to apply the glue in small sections of only a couple inches at a time, and this way you can be really thorough with your application and try and keep it really clean so you're not getting it on the back piece because you can glue the sprinkles to your paper. And then I'm just going to come in and sprinkle all of my sprinkles on top of the glue and then gently pat it down into the glue to make sure I get some good adhesion. And then I'm going to apply glue to the next section, making sure my glue overlaps and there's no gaps between one section and the next. And I'm just going to repeat this all the way around the piece, applying glue very generously, leaving the sprinkles in place, and then setting that aside to dry for a couple hours completely. Then I'm going to pop it loose from my backer paper and shake off all of the excess sprinkles. Now don't throw these sprinkles away. You may not be able to eat them at this point, but you can definitely do more crafting with them later. If you feel like you've got gaps in your sprinkles, you can always go back and add more glue and sprinkles later, but you will shed a little bit of sprinkles as you hang this, so don't worry if some come loose. Now I'm going to hang this to the wall using these Velcro command strips, and they come in pairs, and you're just going to pull them apart and then put the Velcro parts together and then peel the backing off of one side, and you want to apply these to the upper part of your letters. So anywhere where it's really going to bear weight or might flop over, that's where you want to put these command strips. So I'm just going to remove the backing paper on all of these letters and turn around to hang it on the wall. This step would be much easier if this word was made out of foam core because it would be a lot more rigid and it will hang flat much nicer. So this is what it looks like cut out of foam core. This is the cake topper and the steps are all the same. I did take my script and bolded it even more, and that way there's a lot of surface area to attach all of the sprinkles to. So I'm just going to cover this in a coordinating paint color that matches my sprinkles, and I'm just going to cover every side of this until there's no white showing. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry before I go through the same process of gluing all my sprinkles down. To attach this to the cake, I'm going to be using 2 bamboo skewers, and finding a spot where the foam core is a little thicker, I'm going to gently press in the pointy end of the bamboo skewer till it's about 1/4 inch into it, and make sure that the bamboo skewers are square to the word. I didn't have to glue mine in place because the friction was enough, and that was all it took to put it into the cake. There are so many ways you can incorporate sprinkles into your food and beverage options at your party. With just this 1.5-pound bag, I've not only been able to do the signs, decorate the cake, but there's still over half the package left. So I could put these on the rims of glasses, put them in the bottom of candle vases. If I wanted to stick utensils into them, there's lots of ways you can incorporate sprinkles into decorating and spicing up your food presentation. I'll leave a couple pictures over here of inspiration, but honestly, the possibilities are endless, and it's so inexpensive to use sprinkles as a decorating option. The final decorations for this party are super easy to make. It's this 1x4-inch giant sprinkles, and I'm going to make them out of coordinating colors of cardstock that matches the sprinkle blend that I'm using for my party. Sprinkles come in all kinds of different color mixes, so pick papers that coordinate with your own mix. Now this only took 1 sheet of each color because each page makes 22 sprinkles. So I'm going to have one 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock in each of my colors, and you can make this with a pair of scissors, but I have a paper slicer here that I'm going to be using to speed up that process. And I'm just cutting that into 1-inch strips, and then from that 1-inch strip I'm going to cut 4-inch sections out of it, so I'll get 2 out of each strip, and then I'm going to take my pair of scissors and round over the end and just repeat that for all the sprinkles. I'm going to hang these on the wall using some really small glue dots, but if you're in a place where you're worried about the paint or wallpaper, or if you're in a venue, I would consider using sticky tack instead. It doesn't take a lot of adhesion to get these to stick to the wall. So I'm just putting 1 tiny glue dot or some sticky tack to the center of my sprinkle and then gently pressing it onto the wall. Now I ended up using about 6 of each color on the wall, and you just want to space these out and randomize it until you're happy with the amount that you've got on the wall, but these aren't limited to just the wall. I also scattered these all over my tables, and it's a really easy way to add a pop of color to any table. I hope you were inspired by today's project. Celebrating a new bundle of joy does not need to be a stressful affair and can, with just a few simple elements, be a lot of fun. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to have you join our creative community as we do all kinds of party setups and making all kinds of props and decorations for those events. So until the next time, check out some of these videos over here, and I'll see you later. Stay creative!